Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, girl BrittReacts, and today we're going to react via a kind suggestion to Neil deGrasse, is that what that is? Tyson reacting to Trump's attacks on DEI. Oh brother, here we go.
Tonight, NASA versus Elon Musk. So NASA's top officials firing back at Musk. One former senior NASA official, just moments ago, told CNN that they never received an offer from Musk's SpaceX to bring home the two U.S. astronauts stuck in space. They never got that offer. Now, why were they saying that? Well, because they were responding to Musk's claims that the two astronauts had been left in space for, quote, political reasons. The astronauts themselves, they're up there, and they had to deny this.
We don't feel abandoned. We don't feel stuck. We don't feel stranded.
That's
I
it.
mean, they are on the International Space Station having to respond to this. I mean, it's just some moments in all this where you go, this is really insane. Multiple astronauts going after Musk after these claims, including Andreas Morgensen, who called Musk's claim a lie on X. Musk responded, and I'm going to just quote what Musk said. He called.
Whoa. Whoa.
Called this astronaut, quote, fully retarded.
An astronaut.
An
astronaut.
On that note, let's bring in astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, the author of the new book, Merlin's
I mean, at the bare minimum, where is the human decency, respect, and humanity? At the very least, why does it feel like we are asking for world peace when we ask for people, especially our government officials or leaders, to not be bullies? I'm going to go with the word bullies because that was just unnecessarily harsh. Okay, I've never heard of this gentleman. I'm interested to see what he has to say.
No, let's bring in astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, the author of the new book,
deGrasse.
Merlin's Tour of the Universe, Traveler's Guide to Blue Moons, Black Holes, Mars, Stars, and Everything Far.
Oh.
It is a prominent place on my bookshelf. I put it in the travel section, should I ever get to
Just in case.
travel.
Yeah.
You know, when I was organizing, that's what I did. Okay.
Do we think she reads that?
Right, Musk says that this was, political, that Biden wouldn't bring them down. They have to be, these astronauts denying it on the space station. NASA denies it. An astronaut says it's not true, and Musk, uses those horrible words to respond to the person. I mean, what is your response to all of this?
Well, let's go to the beginning of it all. The two astronauts were never stranded in any normal way we would use that term. And they were joining a half a dozen other astronauts on the International Space Station. There's plenty of food. Maybe they didn't bring enough changes of underwear. I don't know. But that would be like the worst case scenario. They're both experienced astronauts. And while I don't remember whether this is the longest time they spent in zero G in their astronaut career, but it's a while, and so they have to adjust to that, but they're professionals. So they're not stranded. Second, what a luxury it is to have a conversation about he said, she said, and who said what, when, I mean, think about it. We have options to bring them back from space. One of them is SpaceX.
Right.
And that's evidence to me that we are living in the future, that no one is worried about whether there exists a ship to bring them back. The Starliner for Boeing, that had some risk factors.
Okay, so he's basically saying not only are they okay, but we are blessed enough to have options on how to bring them back. One being, is SpaceX the property of Elon Musk? Y'all, my brain hurts, honestly. It just, an astrophysicist, come on. Y'all think I'm qualified to be talking to y'all about this? Sorry.
Back. The Starliner for Boeing, that had some risk factors. NASA was not going to take that risk. So you push that aside. Who's up next? There's SpaceX. I'm good with that. And the rest of this is just distraction.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is unfortunate. I say, you read it and you think about people reading it and people using such words. especially people who have achieved so much and you run SpaceX, you have all of the things that someone
Okay,
has.
so I want to just stand corrected. At this point, Elon is not in any capacity a government official. This is still in the Biden administration when this interview was taking place. So I retract that. But still, I mean, this man is I mean, he's just a huge figure. He is a leader. And to speak to someone of such high intelligence, like, you're not an astronaut on accident. You're not an astronaut after 4 years of college. Like, it just is so mean. And I don't understand why we can't get our point across without being mean. Why? Some of you in the comments could answer that.
Has to speak like that. At best, it's deeply unfortunate. Let me ask you, Neil, also, the other context here is these asteroids, right? So then the city killer asteroid, I guess it's called.
Well, yeah, meanwhile, there's like asteroids bearing down on Earth.
So,
maybe
so
somebody
in
should
case
pay
we don't
attention.
destroy it ourselves, there's something else to do it for us. Okay, so, you know, it was kind of up and it was down, it was vacillating all over the place, and now they're downplaying that particular asteroid that they say now is more unlikely to hit a city.
It's not so much downplaying, there's better evidence available to
Right.
tighten the uncertainty circle such that Earth is basically no longer at risk.
All right,
Oh,
so
by the way, that circle still encloses the moon. So the moon's risk, the moon
So
has
Seven Eves becomes a reality. It's a Neil Stephenson book I enjoyed. Right, you break up the moon and the pieces start coming down.
Yeah.
But I know asteroids are a very serious thing, and there's only so much ability, and I think this is what this brought to bear, to see them within the time frame that one could do anything about it.
Yes, that's a perfectly stated concern. And so we have some telescopes coming online very shortly that specialize in the discovery of very dim asteroids. And these are the ones that can sneak up on us and not give us much time to react, either to deflect it, which...
Guys, I have too much on my plate to worry about. There is too much going on in this world, and now I got to worry about asteroids. Who sent this in? I think you just wanted to see me have an emotional response and breakdown to this. What I will say is I really appreciate Mr. Neil Tyson's very confident and educated response. I think for me, you turn on the TV now and you watch a lot of what's going on in the government, and it just feels like people who just want it their way. Me. And there's no regard for actual fact, research, science, or the people put in place, the professionals, and what they have to say about it. And this man just feels very matter of fact. He feels very educated in what he's talking about. So I will say that. Okay.
NASA has been building that kind of technology. They had a mission, the DART mission, Double Asteroid Redirect Test, just a couple of years ago, successfully altered the path of an asteroid. It was not known whether that would work because the structural integrity of asteroids is not well understood. You can push on one piece, that might break off and leave the rest in place.
Yeah.
We don't know this. So the more of these kinds of missions that we launch, the safer we might feel going forward when one of these gets discovered that could be headed towards Earth.
Yeah. All right. So now let me ask you also about these executive orders, the DEI orders that are now, you know, at first I think people felt maybe in some of the government agencies, okay, it's just rhetoric. Call it whatever you want to call it, continue with it. It now appears that that's not the case, right? This is not rhetoric, this is reality. Look at NASA, for example, the web pages that would talk about the diversity of the space program. Just to say, look at how diverse our program is. This is something that we are proud of. Look at the 404 warning you get now. It's gone. Programs promoting diversity and inclusion, even Black History Month, or Black astronauts, women astronauts, minority astronauts, just things, again, that the space program that NASA was proud of appear at this point to have been shut down. You sit here as a Black astrophysicist. How are you processing this?
Yeah, so when I grew up, people said, "Oh, did you want to be an astronaut when you were a kid?" I'm old enough to have lived through the '60s.
Okay, here's my only issue with the way that she framed that question is that you're black, so you must not feel good about these DEI rollbacks. Not all black people, I hate to break it to y'all, feel this way. Some black people agree with the DEI rollbacks. I reacted to one. And so I don't like the way she framed that. I think it happens a lot in a lot of different variations, but I think she should have allowed him to state his stance on it without her framing it like, you're a black astrophysicist. What's going on in your mind? Like, she pretty much framed it to tell us that he is not happy about it. But let's hear what he has to say.
People said, "Oh, did you want to be an astronaut when you were a kid?" I'm old enough to have lived through the '60s, the moon landing and the rest. And I said no, because it was clear they were not interested in me by who they were sending into space.
You saw the lack of color.
As a child, I knew this. And but it was.
I do agree that representation matters wholly, completely, for everyone. Like, representation matters. If you don't see, if you want to do something and you don't see someone that looks like you has done it before, it takes a lot of courage, guts, and like vision for you to envision yourself there. And there are some people like that, but there are also children in this world who would never think that they could attain something because they've never seen someone that looks like them do it. So yeah, I definitely subscribe to the notion that seeing some form of representation, and that doesn't have to be your race. It doesn't have to be your race. Just seeing yourself represented, a reflection of yourself in some way, the way you live your life or the people around you or something, anything, the way you dress, allows you to feel capable. I don't know why that, like, but that's my opinion.
You saw the lack of color.
As a child, I knew this.
Again, she said a lack of color.
But
but
it was more
he
than
alluded
that.
to that.
Everyone was wearing like crew cuts.
See what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. She's like, you saw a lack of color, but he's like, it was more than that. Like, no one had a haircut like mine. He could go and say no one had my body type. Everyone was a certain height. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish we would just stop making this strictly about the color of skin, because representation in DEI differences is not just a racial thing. I think that is the forefront for a lot of people. But again, in this case, she framed it about him being upset that there weren't enough black people. He's like, it wasn't just that. I had my afro and they had crew cuts. I didn't think my afro could fit in a in a helmet.
And but it was more than that. Everyone was wearing like crew cuts at a time when the Broadway musical Hair was number one.
Right.
So
See?
there was some mismatches.
Big old
between
hair for
what
everybody.
we were sending in space and what culture was doing. I still valued that we were going into space, but I didn't feel like I was a part of that. And with DEI, so I always viewed that as a way to encourage agencies to look in places you hadn't looked before for a talent that you've been missing. And so, if we're going to stop that, and you think every person who's the right, who's correct for a job is white male, that's I don't know what that means. And to fire a 4-star Air Force general with an advanced degree in aerospace engineering, replace him with someone who is who's not a general, a 3-star general. It would be the first 3-star general as head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff ever. That seems like a different form of DEI. It's like you're favoring someone else who's not even qualified.
All right, Neil. Well, thank you
That
very
was a
much.
good point. That was a good point. It's just a different version of DEI. It's like, okay, well, we're going to favor this guy over the person who's actually qualified to get away from DEI. But I don't know, whatever. Sound off in the comments. That's all I got. Go and have the day you deserve. Bye.